Hi, my name is Todd Ross, and in 1996 my father Roy was killed while racing at the Race City Speedway in Calgary. Over the last 24 years, Bruce Hampton, president of the International Motor Contest Associates, and its drivers have put on a memorial race in honor of my father. This year it's at the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin. I'd like to invite you all to come down and watch some great grassroots racing on the pavement. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you are planning on coming down to the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin to cheer on one or more of the competitors in this year's 25th anniversary Roy Ross Memorial, please buy your tickets online at eventbrite.ca or email royrossmemorial@gmail.com. All the purchases from either the online sales or through email, the proceeds go directly back to the racers of the show. Please support them and come on down and again watch some great racing. Thank you. And now we're going to watch a video of one of the competitors in this year's race. I'd like to thank Ian Burgess for doing the interviews and for providing them to the Roy Ross Memorial. Thank you. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our series of driver interviews for the 25th running of the Roy Ross Memorial. This year's event will be held July 23rd and 24th at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. The Roy Ross Memorial is in memory of Roy Ross, the late Roy Ross, and we will talk some more about the history of the event and how it started and all that in our interview with Todd Ross. The goal of these interviews is to give you a chance to get to know the drivers and hear about their racing journey and what the Roy Ross Memorial means to them. My name is Ian Burgess, and I have the pleasure of racing in the Roy Ross in 2011 and was able to win the Trophy Dash. It's a trophy that we still display around the house, and it's a good conversation starter and gives us a chance to share a little bit about the history of the race and IMCA modified racing. Tonight we welcome Chad Malone, and he drives the number 12 IMCA modified. And it's great to have him on. Chad is winner of this event and has been right up close a couple times as well. And it's a hard event to win. So how are you doing tonight, Chad?
I'm doing great, Ian. How are you?
I'm well. I'm good. Maybe just talk a little bit about your how you got into racing, your racing journey, how it brought you into the IMCA modified class.
Started a long time ago. I think it was late teens, early 20s. I'm from Perth, Ontario originally, and there was a track in Ottawa called Race City Speedway. That's where I got my start. Started enduro, street stock, same thing. We brought modifieds there in 97 and 98. So that was my first experience in IMCA modifieds. I did terrible at it, absolutely terrible at it. I could spin it up by myself going down the front stretch. I'm not going to lie. It's happened many times. So I moved on from there, went back to pro stocks and cast cars, and I kind of honed my craft a little bit, won some championships, and got a lot better. So when we ended up moving to Alberta, it was the one class that I never did really accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. So that's what brought me back to IMCA modifieds, and that's where we've been. So we've been it's been almost 9 years, almost 10 years, I think, now that I've been back in the series.
Yeah, I was getting out as you were coming in. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you've raced all over Alberta, I know, and I know you've taken the car out to Saskatoon, and hopefully one day we can get the modifieds there. But you also, I know, have a daughter who races, and you do a lot of work for her. And Rylan started in the Cup Car Series and raced up through there. What has it been like coaching your daughter along her journey?
That's pretty cool. It's I get emotional just thinking about it. It's I don't know how to really explain it. Last year was we did 4 races, I guess we did. So she got to compete in her first Roy Ross Memorial, won the Young Gun Shootout, and became the youngest woman to ever win a national event, the only woman to ever win a national event in IMCA history in Canada. It was a pretty proud dad moment, I'm not going to lie. So I'm getting kind of emotional just thinking about it right now. So then the last race of the year, I started at the back and she started up front, and I blew by her, I don't know, 4 laps into it. And when the race was all over, I turned around the front stretch, and there she was standing behind me, finished 4th in the main. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to get to see that, and it's given her own purpose, her own identity in the series as well. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and we've already interviewed your brother Chris, little brother, and he had lots to say, and he had a lot of good things to say about you and the help that you've given him, and also helping Carson along the way, all that kind of stuff. So I know it's a racing family, and it sounds like we'd talk Chris is thrashing away trying to get his car ready, but it sounds like it's going to be a busy weekend for you at the Roy Ross. You'll have 3 modifieds and a cup car going in the Malone stable, and it'll be busy, but it's also I think a good busy. I know that it's something that you enjoy doing as a family, and it brings your family together as something to do and pass some time, and maybe just talk about what family means as a part of racing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. When I started in racing way back when, my family wasn't really involved in racing. It's just something I saw and I wanted to do. So I got started on my own. Chris was there for a little bit at the start, but he moved to Alberta just after I got started. So he really wasn't around with it. And then moving here, like Rylan getting involved, that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, my 2 kids is the last one I figured would get into it, but it's her thing, and like I said before, it gives her purpose. And then we got Carson involved. Chris has always been involved since I've been here, and then we got Carson into it, and it's just really cool. It's just to see the kids come up to the mini cup class. You've seen it in at Hythe. They have bad days and good days, but the good days they'll remember forever. So even if they don't continue on once you move on, it is what it is. They love it. They absolutely love it. Having my family part of it is it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Hopefully after I'm done and Rylan's moves on, hopefully maybe her kids will want to do it. It gets, for yourself. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I think we joke all the time a crack addiction would be probably healthier for us, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So you have your name and you have your picture of your car on the big trophy. Maybe talk a little bit about that day that you won the Roy Ross. Again, we call it the Stanley Cup of motorsports. It's a really cool trophy. If people get a chance to have a look at it, I know Todd always has it out on display, and there's a lot of history on that, and every driver that's competed in the event is listed on that trophy. Even if you finish dead last, your name is still there, and I think that's kind of a cool thing about it. It's not just one person's name. So maybe talk about that day, that race, what it was like, all those things.
That was an amazing day. I have some pretty highlights in my life. My wife and I getting married, kids being born, they're all right up there. I've won a lot in racing, but the Roy Ross Memorial, I've said this before, I said this to Todd, I never met Roy. It was long before. When he passed is actually when I started racing the same year. And it just it was Barry McTavish and a few of the elder statesmen in the series would tell us stories about whatever it was and all that stuff. And I always wanted to be part of it. So the first time I saw the trophy at the Wetaskiwin, I was nowhere ready to compete in that type of event. But like you said, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. The history was there. Even the flagman's is on that trophy. So I kind of said to myself subconsciously, I want my name on this thing. I want to be part of this history. And it took a long time. It took me quite a few races to get there, but I finally did it in 2017. It was just a perfect storm. We had all those fires that year. It was smoky. It just worked out good. I actually started behind Mike Clark, who was last year's champion, 2-time champion. And he just made holes up through the inside, and I followed him through. Mike's an incredible racer. And he got up with Jeff McTavish, and they were battling away. And just the way they were battling, I stayed right in between them, and I knew something was going to happen. And they got together, and I was able to slip through and get around the two of them. It was pretty exciting, and got to the front. And then it was basically don't mess up. I must have said to myself 1,000 times, don't mess this up because you're up front. Don't mess it up. And Justin McTavish was behind me, and we all know how good Justin is. Mm-hmm. And I knew I had basically run like a scared rabbit. I had to get away from him. So I made every lap a qualifying lap to get to the end and protected the bottom. And finally, I got to do it. I couldn't believe it. I actually had to slow down the back stretch to kind of contain myself a little bit before I came to the front stretch, because it's just an emotional time. And then when you finally get it handed to you and it's yours, you never want to give it back. Never, ever want to give it back. So, and then 2018, I wanted to be back-to-back. I wanted to get that like BJ Clark and a few others have done it twice, and came real close, but didn't happen.
Yeah, and so that 2017 race, Todd sent me some stuff, and it puts you in second place for the hard charger. So, like you
Yep.
said, you came from ninth and finished first, and BJ Clark, the couple years before, was able to go from 10th to first. And maybe some people don't know, but with IMCA modified racing, one of the hardest things about it is, unlike NASCAR, we don't put the fastest car on the front. We actually put the fastest car in 10th place. And so we invert the top 10. So if you're first place going into the main event, you start in 10th. And so it's tough for the drivers. It's great for the fans because we put the faster cars at the back, and they, like you said, they got to find their way through and make holes and make it all work. And there's usually a lot more excitement in the racing, not to say that those cars in the front aren't fast too, because they will be. And especially this year with 18 cars, there's going to be a fast car starting at the front.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
up to 18 now. So, but maybe just talk about that. I love that about IMC racing, that it's a pride thing to start in 10th. To get to start in 10th is pretty exciting. But maybe just talk about you've done it. You've been back there a few times. It's a little bit, I'm sure, a little bit daunting at that track too, at EIR, where it's kind of a 1-lane track and you run really hard on the bottom. What is your mind thinking about when you start in 9th or 10th, going into a big race like the Roy Ross Memorial?
Hoping the C's part, really, honestly, truly. Like you said, Edmonton is kind of a bottom track. The line's on the bottom. That's the fast way around. So if you want to pass those guys, and everybody knows that, if you want to pass them, you got to get on the outside and be able to work. And that's how Mike did it last year. He actually went 3 wide to get to the front. An old Superman move there for sure. But in 18, when that's my second one, I actually came from, I believe it was 9th or 10th that year as well, to second. I did it all on the outside and had to pass every one of them on the outside. And then unfortunately, one of the Webster boys got away there and I couldn't catch him. But yeah, it's really hard. You gotta, they've either got to make a mistake or you got to be really good. If there's a hole open, you've got to be in it. It's the most aggressive race of the year, short of the Super Nationals as well. Yeah. And this year, like you said, you just said there's 18. I thought it was 15, but I would say 15, 16 of those guys, every one of them can win it. So it's this is going to be a tough year to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and another wrinkle this year is it's a 2-day event, and so
Yeah.
on Friday night on the 23rd, it'll be the Silver Star special, and they're going to be coming. It sounds like they got a wrestling belt that's going to be given to the winner
Yeah.
of that one. And I think your little brother said he wants to be strutting down the pits with a wrestling belt around his waist. So I don't know, but we got to get his car put together first, I guess.
Join the
And
club.
do you think it'll be a little bit different knowing it's a 2-day event than having a 1-day show in the past?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's going to be different for sure. You're not going to want to tear stuff up on the Friday night and then be thrashing all day on Friday or on Saturday. Yeah, there's actually 3 things to win this year.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
2 of them are to be the first to win. So it'd be still pretty cool to get your name and be the first one on that list. Like Barry's the first one to win the Roy Ross Memorial. We talk about that all the time. Yeah, he has to get in line. I had a little hand in getting that done. I actually think I kind of talked Todd into that because it's always the fastest little bull ring in Western Canada, whatever. So I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't want a belt buckle. I thought a bag buckle would be even better. So yeah, he's going to have to wrestle me for it because I want it too. So
yeah, and I also think it's cool with the 2 days they're going to award that other trophy, which is the Gold Brick 247, which will be kind of how did you do overall weekend, right? And so it's one thing to win one race in one time, but to also be consistent through qualifying, through your heat races. That puts even a little bit more on the drivers too, of and we've seen it in Hythe. We do with the Super Nationals. We've seen it come down to points. We've actually had one year where literally dead heat tied for over a weekend. So I think it'll be pretty neat. I also think, though, and I think you might agree that crazy things happen when people put helmets on, and you may say I'm gonna take it easy on Friday and Saturday, but you know that too.
Once you get in the moment, you just want to go, right? So yeah, I've said that 1,000 times. Every year we start, I'm actually been pretty fortunate. I'm a 3-time champion in Edmonton, and they didn't award a championship last year, but we kept track of the points, and I was leading them again the last race, but it came down to the feature between Justin and I just was able to get ahead of him. But yeah, I've been that every year. I go, we'll just go and have some fun and whatever have you. And then the minute you're on that track, it's like, I got this guy. I'm gonna beat him. So yeah, it's just your brain goes out the window. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe talk a little bit about, I know you have a pretty good relationship with one of the big sponsors, Mark Burton and Gas Compression. Maybe just talk a little bit about Mark's role in motorsports in Western Canada.
Mark's a rock star. If without his support, not a lot of these events wouldn't happen, right? So Mark and I are kind of in a little bit of the same industry for our job as well. I met Mark at the track. I didn't know him from Adam from Eve. I really didn't. And from day one, he was just always pleasant, nice to talk to. Last year, he supported Ryland. He looked up some sponsorship for Ryland. We couldn't have done it. We couldn't have got Ryland to the track last year without Mark's support. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what he does. Yeah, for a guy that's not actually in a race car, doing all the stuff he's doing, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and he's incredibly kind of quiet and humble about it, and he just does it.
And that's the best part about it, is he just does it because he loves doing it. It's just his thing, right? Actually, when I first met him, I didn't actually know him that well, and he started, I think I was a messenger. He tried to get a hold of me, but he got a hold of my wife instead. And they chatted back and forth for I don't know how long before she goes, "Hey, I think this guy wants to talk to you." So, yeah, no, he's just a personal guy, and always got a smile on his face, and yeah, he's great. He's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a crazy event this year. It's gonna be exciting. I know we're still waiting. There might be a couple more late entries as well, and so it'd be cool to be able to say there's 20 cars. It could happen. Is 18 going to be the biggest field you've ever raced at the Roy Ross?
At the Roy Ross, yeah, I believe it is. Yeah. The year I won, I think there was 12 or 14. I think we ended up with 13 or something, 12 in the feature. But yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest field. The biggest field I've raced in a long time since I raced gas car. I think that's the biggest field, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, all things considered, with COVID and all this kind of stuff, it's really cool to see just racers coming out and supporting this event, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What's your I know what you're going to say, but what's your goals for the Roy Ross this year?
I'm going to win that bugger. I only have one goal this year. I'm not chasing championships this year. I don't even know if I can race the whole season. Like I said earlier, work's been a little slow for me, so my whole year is geared around that race. So it's I'm going to win it. Especially little brother thinks he's going to take it from me. I'm going to win that bugger. So yep, that's my goal.
Turn 4, coming to the checkered flag. Your little brother's in front of you. Is the chrome horn going to touch the rear bumper of that 76 car?
He's been mad at me before. He's been mad at me before. So I'd have to see the situation. You know, it'd be pretty cool for both of us to win it. But yeah, if I can win it, I'm going to win the thing. Thanksgiving's a long way from now, so we should be able to get over it by then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said if none of you do very well, there's going to be a pretty quiet Thanksgiving dinner. So he's kind of saying, hopefully. I
don't have that huge expectations. If I don't win it, don't win it. Like you said, there's 18 cars, and I haven't seen the whole field, but when I saw up to 15, the 10 to 13 of them can win it. They're all like what did Todd say the other day. There's 9 past champions, like recent past champions in it. Mike Clark, Jamie Chrissick, Justin McTavish, Barry McTavish, all those guys can win. And there's some new kids coming along. Alex Krause, he is, the last couple of races there, he was hot in my heels. That kid can drive too. Tyler Knowles, amazing race car driver. And I'm not even sure who else is coming, but yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And then you never know. You could get a little, forgive me, I forget the Webster boys' names, but the year that he
Austin,
won,
Austin,
yeah, he had a pretty good hot rod. And I think he did pretty good in qualifying and features, but he wasn't the fastest. But when he got up front and smelt that trophy, boy, did he go. So
yeah,
you could always have something like that happen again, right?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of cool. I was talking to Todd today, and they're going to do the Young Guns race again. So they're going to do a little 15-lap race, and I think we've got 5 or 6 that'll be in that Young Guns category. So it's going to be pretty cool to see, and it'll be a lot of fun. Just before we wrap up, anyone you'd like to thank, some family sponsors, stuff like that?
Yeah, it's my wife always puts up with all this stuff. Jennifer, she it's a lot, especially with Ryland racing now. This year's pretty quiet on the sponsor front, but Dave Malone, my uncle, he supplies the trailer we get to the track with. Mark Burton obviously helps us out. Sean LaBelle with the LaBelle Tree Services. We actually talked today about the racing coming up. He's going to be on board again this year. I'm not really sure if there's any more, but I can't wait.
Yeah, and I know you guys do a lot of work with Grant Edwards Evolution Race Products and tons
Thank
of
you.
stuff
I
there.
forgot about that. Grant is my. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of take advantage of that because I've got him right now. Grant is a good friend and has always part of the reason of my success that I've had at the track. Before we went to see Grant, I thought I knew how to set up race cars, but I had no idea. Grant is the man for me. Grant does my thing. I actually spent some time with Grant today on the scales with mine. He builds a rocket ship, man. So yeah, Grant Edwards Evolution Racing. You want to stand on the checkered flag. You want the checkered flag. He's the man.
Yeah, I know he's helps out a lot of guys all over the province and gets people parts when they need them and all that kind of stuff. So another important piece of the racing industry here in Western Canada. Well, Chad, we wish you all the best. We hope you can have a number 2 next to your name as a 2-time winner of the Roy Ross Memorial, and we also just hope everything goes well and 2 days you come through relatively unscathed and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's hard as a father when your daughter's out there racing too, but she's a heck of a shoe and she's a good driver, and you don't have to worry about her. But all the best, and we hope to see her on the track somewhere this summer.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Thank you, man.
Thanks.